Hello 99ers and gamers and 80s computer fans. Pixelpettin here as always to talk TI-99 software and take a look at the great stuff that came out for that platform in its 80s heyday. Though it's admittedly a little after the TI-99's heyday that I want to talk about today, since what I'm talking about is the very last 80s RPG to come out for the TI-99. That's the 1989 sequel to Donn Granros' 1987 game, Legends. And if you didn't see my previous video on Legends, all the background on that game and a full playthrough of it is available there. But today we're moving on to the sequel, cleverly titled Legends 2, The Sequel. There we're catching up with our party of Brunt the Fighter, Flit the Ranger, Blasto the Wizard, and Paulus the Cleric on their new adventure. And we really are catching up with the same party since the game lets you import your characters from the first game. So, the boys are back in town, even if the town is completely different. Now, when last we saw our party, they just closed the western portal and defeated Ashtar Creel to save Eden Land. Hurrah! And some such. And the manual for Legends 2 has some details on what's happened since. You save the world, what happens next? Order pizza? Who knows? Well, we'll find out. Namely, hearing of a new land over the eastern ocean, you and your comrades charter a ship to sail you to the land over the horizon. After an arduous voyage, land was finally sighted. A storm began brewing as your vessel approached the shore. After minutes of rocking and buffeting, the ship began to creak and groan. Then you heard a massive crunch. The ship was going down. You grabbed your weapons, and as many of your possessions as you could. You arrived at a beach about a mile or two away from a town on the shore of a bay. You and your party head towards the town. Your party ventures off towards the nearest tavern, which, as any experienced adventurer knows, is the best place to ask for information. An hour later, you've learned quite a few things. So in short, our party's been left stranded on a foreign island, with not much in the way of our belongings, but they're still alive. So this will be the same party you're familiar with from my Legends playthrough, if you saw that. To get the boys back in action and get the boys back in town, we'll start by inserting Disk 3, which is the import utility disk for those Legends characters, and we'll run that. Brunt arrives. Flit pops in, Blasto appears, and Paulus is here. Though since our Legends 1.1 party was pretty maxed out, the import utility, sadly, brings us back down to earth a bit. So we'll have a few of each type of potion and some gold, but we'll all be back to level 3 again, sadly. Babies once again. Plus, we're back to basics when it comes to weapons and armor. Anything you had in Legends 1? Lost at sea. So, back at level 3 and baby adventurers again. We really aren't at that point where the system opens up and you feel like you're hitting most shots and you got access to most spells. So, we're going to want to do just a bit of grinding first. Thank goodness we get to skip that level 1 and 2 grind though, since those were absolutely brutal in Legends 1. We'll just grind out a couple more levels on top of those in the starting area to get our feet under us so we can get access to what we need to conquer this new world. Presuming we're in the conquering business. And while we're poking around, we find a few things of interest. We get a better sense of where we are for one thing. Thimble Isle. A small green isle resting on the eastern edge of the stormy ocean, several leagues south of the infamous Creel Island. Gazing southward across the channel, we can see the shore of a larger island. This area is shrouded in rumor and mystery, as only a few have ever wandered upon its shores. Old tales hint of monsters and magic and unspeakable horrors, but the truth of these tales remains unknown, hidden deep in time and the dank fog that drifts with the evening breeze. Exploring the area a bit more, we find one thing of interest, a rusty drawbridge pointing in the direction of the southern island. But bridge is out. We try repairing it, but no dice there. We don't know how to fix bridges. Who do you think we are? So, having leveled up a little and given up on the bridge building business, we'll take some advice from the manual and listen to rumors at the local pub. See if we can get a better sense of what's up on Femble Isle. And at the pub we do learn a few things worth knowing. They somehow snatched the great king from a parallel world, probably holding him for ransom. So, there's maybe a king we can save? Kings are rich. Sounds like a plan. There was once a story about the Orb of Experience lost. It restores knowledge to the ones who can find it. And finding that would be pretty useful, since we've lost a ton of levels, and I wouldn't mind getting him back. Early was hired to fix some of them pipes and walls and stuff. He came back and told them to forget it. Can't do it. Now that I think of it, no one has seen Mayor Sneck around lately. Wonder where he might have gone. So, someone named Early fixes stuff around here and maybe could fix a bridge. Plus, the mayor's apparently missing. He said there's a treasure room below the town where Grumpy's hidden some ancient and valuable weapons. So, we're maybe looking for treasure below the city itself. And as far as that goes, it just so happens that when we enter the city, we're offered not just a way into the city, but a way to get underneath it. At the entrance, a weather-beaten stone stairway winds downward. So, we'll wind downward ourselves. Our party emerges from the stairway into a dimly lit area. Somewhere in the gloom, we hear water dripping. This area is primarily used for storage of unwanted or seldom used items. Grumble's sewer system is also located in this general area below our present location. Grumbillions are justifiably proud to have running water and sewers, as luxuries of this nature are quite rare in these parts. Few visitors escape without at least one tour of the facilities. Exploring the facilities, we do run into a couple tour groups, so apparently that's really a thing. Sewer tours. But a little later we run into something more useful than that, namely an old man laboring over some rusty equipment. Seeing our party, he smiles, showing his poor teeth, and we talk to him. And he says, "I don't often see your type wandering around down here, usually killing dragons or something. But long as you're here, good idea. These fine tools might come in pretty handy. Oh yeah, you might check lower down, with some weapons and other junk lying there." Alright, so we got some tools to repair the bridge with, hopefully, and we're told there might be weapons down there for us, which we're looking for. And we do pick up some improved equipment along the way from those treasure chests we were told we'd find around the dungeon. As far as those go, Legends 2's treasure system is a bit of an improvement over the original, I'd say. It features a really nice treasure chest graphic you didn't have in the original, and chests can contain multiple items of multiple types, rather than just one item of just one type. So it's a little more fleshed out. That's nice. Anyway, we head down to the 4th level of the dungeon, and there we find Mayor Sneck, the missing Mayor of Grumble, who we were told was missing at the Grumble pub earlier on. We see a rather rotund man who looks up in amazement as we enter the room. And we're pretty fricking amazing, so what can I say? He asks, "Did Greevil send you here?" Here, if we say that Greevil sent us, Sneck will try to bribe us not to kill him since he thinks we're assassins. But we'll be the good guys here rather than pretending to be the bad guys. Which isn't being the bad guys, but it's close enough. At any rate, being the good guys does pay off here. He says, "You appear to be persons of good intent. Greetings. I am Sneck, Mayor of Grumble. I have hidden here because assassins have made several attempts on my life, humble as it is. You may also run into these brigands on your travels. Maybe I can assist you. Take this key to Zem Outpost, Below the outpost is a room containing weapons and armor, which you may have. Take care, as the keep is quite old and may be unsafe to explore. Then, better yet, he says, I know a secret exit from this dungeon. Will you take it? And we definitely will take the easy road home, thank you very much. So that all works out pretty fabulously. We've got a key to a treasure trove at Zem Outpost, whatever the hell that is. We've found the missing mirror of Grumble, which presumably Grumble wants back. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he's a jerk. But he's back. And we found some tools that we might be able to fix the bridge with, presuming we know more about bridge fixing than we did the first time. Maybe it lets us get to those southern islands. So, let's head out and see if Arlie's tools do the trick. Which they do, and the bridge is open. Meaning we're free to head south. Which is where we'll be heading from the rest of the game on, since the map of Legends 2 is a big long north-south island chain. Kind of a straight line. Travel comes with the danger of constant attack by monsters, of course, as it always did in Legends 1, but we do have stealth potions, just like we did in Legends 1. Those are broken in Legends 2 as distributed in the two different versions of the game I have, but I implemented a bug fix to solve that on the fly. So they'll be working here for the purpose of this playthrough. Part of the fun of an extended basic game definitely is being able to look at the code and dig into it and see what it's doing and what it's not doing and what it should be doing if it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. So this is one such case. Walking south, we see a bridge ahead, and we learn that one reason few curious souls have ventured very far into this section of the island is the large troll encampment located nearby. At one time, the trolls charged travelers a high tariff for the price of crossing the bridge. Lately, however, they have allowed no one to cross the bridge. Though speculation abounds, one can only guess at their reasons. Like the sign warned, at the bridge there's a group of trolls, and one says, "Beat it, yous bums." And, well, we aren't inclined to beat it, so it's a fight. We beat 'em to a pulp, of course, and onward to the nearest dungeon, where we meet another group. The group of guards tries, "Buzz off, rabble." And we're not inclined to buzz off either, so we're back at it again, and beating them too. In the dungeon, it's a monster dungeon, and the armor eaters that live here are really nasty, since they literally eat your armor. Yeah, surprise, surprise, I know. But there's something we need inside, that being a small book, its binding cracked and weathered, the pages decaying even as we look on it. From its rapidly deteriorating pages we make out Klaatu 21, Nikto 3, Barada 18. Those numbers we'll have to keep in mind for later, but something we'll notice immediately about them is that Klaatu, Nikto, and Barada are words written on a letter included with the game, physical materials. What that says is, "Gressel, maybe this might help you on your quest, but you must yet find the book. Without it, the list has no use, and you and your band may die horribly. Good luck, my friend, and may you yet live to see another morn." So, we've now found the book, which can maybe make this letter a tool instead of just a riddle. But it's time to head south again, as we're prone to doing, and after a long march southward, we get to a gate where guards tell us to buzz off again, as they're wont to do. And again, we ain't buzzing off, instead it's a fight. And winning that, we're past the guards and heading inside. And on the second level, we surprise a young man who says, "Gee whiz, who are you guys?" We say we're adventurers, and he says, "Ha, adventurers, I'm Urgle. I've been searching for my older brother Clovis, who's been trying to discover who's taken Gorval Keep. Say, if you guys are heading south, why don't you allow me to come along? I won't fight, but I may be able to help in other ways." So, we take Urgle on, and head down at the lowest level of the dungeon. Mayor Snackback and Grumble told us there'd be treasure for us at Zem Outpost, and, well, we do find that. And plenty of it. We are wearing some pretty good gear by the end of it. Almost back to the level we were at the end of Legends 1. But Urgle's brother had been investigating Gorval's Keep, apparently, south of here, and he's looking for him. And as for us, we're always looking for more dungeons to explore naturally. So, south again we go. And further on south, we find ourselves viewing the ruins of an ancient and once majestic fortress. For centuries, its power kept evil at bay. The brave and stalwart warriors who manned the keep stood always ready to defend the region from those of bad intent. In time, peace settled over the region. The fortress was abandoned. The warriors left and returned to their homes. Recently, merchants sailing past Trog Island reported seeing signs of considerable activity around the keep. The guards don't tell us to buzz off this time, for a change. Instead, this time it's leave or die. But we're not ones to oblige either way, so they're dead men. And walking over their corpses, as we're wont to do, we head on in. As we enter, we're struck by the eerie silence that pervades this place. Signs of recent construction would imply that an effort has been made to restore the keep to its former glory. Strangely, though, we see no signs of workmen, and many of the projects remain only partly finished. Rumors abound regarding an immense treasure reputed to be buried in the keep. What we find inside is a dungeon absolutely full of the undead. In the lower levels, coffins contain gold, but also more undead monsters. And there's no sign of Urgle's brother, who we'd been looking for. So, having explored and at least taken home some gold from those coffins, along with the vampire bites, it's time to head south again. And after fighting a couple more gate guards and sneaking past a few monsters, we are inside Faux Geeks Deli. One hot spot in this area favored by human types and monsters alike is Faux Geeks Deli. While here, patrons can order unusual types of cuisine and also more traditional fare. A recent menu included melon pizza, leech casserole, pond scum souffle, rock eggs over easy, and dragon burgers. Plus, Faux Geeks delivers in half a zune or less. Faux Geeks is such a deal, such a place. Heading on inside, humans and monsters sit here chomping amiably away at the selection of their choice. The deli's quite crowded, and someone says, "Hey, wait your turn, jerks." But nice to see humans and monsters eating side by side, I guess. Anyway, we're not here for dinner, and we're not here for peaceable fraternization between monsters and humans. We're here for treasure. So, down we go. And it's here we finally find Urgle's brother Clovis. Clovis whispers, "Urgle, why are you here? This is a very dangerous place. I must get you out of here right now." Clovis looks at us and says, "We must leave, but I can help you sneak past the gate guards. Here, put these on." And, as a disguise, we put on grubby old uniforms reading, "Faux Geeks Deli, good prices, good grub." Clovis and Urgle wave goodbye and head for the stairs. As for us, we're not done exploring here yet, and further on we find something interesting. Namely, a pretty woman stands before us. She cries, "I am lost and fear for my safety. Please take me with you. Please help me, please." Will our stalwart band take this helpless young woman along with our party? And yeah, we will. That's what adventurers would do, right? A dazzling smile lights her face and she says, "Oh, thank you, my heroes. Surely in such company I will be safe. Oh, you may call me Gina." Bad news for her, though. We're not done exploring this dungeon. We're just taking her further down, into greater danger. Oops. Doesn't seem helpful at all, but oh well, she chose this ride. Anyway, the bottom level is a blind maze, and we're determined to find our way out of it. So, we work away at that for a while, and eventually we do. At the end of it, we find an odd chest. A light emanates from inside the chest. The glow infuses and transforms all. As the light from the orb of experience fades, we notice a large pile of gold. We gain 10,000 experience and 20,000 gold. And with that, the orb of experience restores much that was taken away, just like a certain pub rumor once told us it would. So, after a whole lot more work making our way back out of that maze that it took us so long to find our way into, we eventually do make our way out and get to the exit of the dungeon, when we hear scuffling noises behind us, and a muffled cry of pain. Gina laughs at our bewilderment, and she's holding a very thin, sharp blade, the tip glistening brightly with red. She eyes us with contempt. "Let me introduce myself, fools. My name is Gina Grievel. Let the death of this knave serve as a warning. Go no further. Many better adventurers than you have perished, attempting to interfere in our business." She quickly vanishes into the crowd, and our wizard Blasto lies dead by Gina's hand. At this point, we think back on Mayor Sneck of Grumble, asking if Grievel had sent us, when he thought he might be attacked by assassins at any moment. He'd warned us we might run into similar types along our travels, and, well, looks like we found our Grievel. At this point, we're forced to go back to Grumble with our dead party member and visit the temple. We're greeted warmly, and its healer Fred says, "Well, it seems a member of your party has died. Perhaps I can be of assistance. There is a small charge for my services. Only 500 gold for each dead guy, okay?" We hand it over, and Fred does his work. So, Blasto's good as new. While we're at it, we freshen up at the inn. Then we use what we got from the Orb of Experience to add some levels and prep for our final journey. We pick up some potions too, to make that a little easier. And at level 9, we're pretty much ready to go. So we head south again. And the journey is long, which I've really got to emphasize. In Legends 1, the game world was reasonably large, but nowhere felt terribly far from anywhere else at the end of the day. In Legends 2, Eagle's Roost, where we're going right now, feels like it's a long, long way from town. But our party's plenty strong, and we'll make the journey in time. When we get to Eagle's Roost, naturally we learn a few things about it. We're told, long ago, princes, kings, and other luminaries often stayed at this small palace while traveling through the realm. They enjoyed the magnificent view of the frigid ocean, and rested peacefully under the protective wing of the keep and its powerful warriors. Though long abandoned, traces of its former opulence still remain, as if waiting the arrival of another person of high standing. Perhaps that wait was not in vain. Well, let's make sure it wasn't. So, we'll kill some guards and head on inside, as is our wont. It's like ringing a doorbell. Just show up on someone's doorstep, kill a few guards to let them know you're there. Your way of saying hi if you show up at a palace. And as we walk over their corpses, as is the tradition, we're struck by the elegance which surrounds us. The crashing of waves on the rocks below echoes quietly through the halls, as if even the ocean there were hesitant to disturb this place. Amidst the serenity and beauty of this palace, we sense the presence of some other more malignant force. A metallic clanking is also heard down the hall. A voice rumbles, "Klaatu." And that word is one we'd run into before. in a small book at Trollholm, which explained the letter included with the game. And once we wander a little further inside, a metal being roars, "Claw 2, watchword." So we answer with the code from the letter, orange. And a little further in yet, a tough-looking guard says, "Get lost, wimps, now." We kill him, of course, as is our wont, and eventually we make our way to the second level. On the second level, we run into more guards, but this time, the disguises that Urgle outfitted us with do the trick. "Delivery guys from Faux Geeks, huh? Okay, pass on by." So that's nice. I was starting to wonder whether we got dressed up for nothing. A bit further on beyond that, a metal being roars, "Nick 2, watchword." And we answer with the code from the letter again, lock it. We make our way into the third level now, and predictably, we run into a third guardian. A metal being roars, "Barada, watchword." And we give him the code from the letter again, Pumas. From there, we continue exploring until, in an otherwise empty room, we run into someone else. He's an oddly dressed man, bound with heavy chains, which have been securely fastened to the wall. He says, "I sure would be much obliged if you could get me out of these things. Been stuck here so long, I forgot what daylight looks like. Them guards were talking about a hidden passage just to the north. Maybe we could find it and get out of this here asylum? How about it?" Sounds good to us. So, with great effort, the man is set free and says, "Much obliged. Now, let's get out of here." And we make our way down to the fourth level of the dungeon. That's a large underground grotto, and we find a passage out, so we follow it. Emerging from the depths of the palace, our party spots an unattended ship below. After sneaking past a couple of careless guards, we board the waiting boats and make our escape. And so it came to pass that our party and Elvis, our newfound friend, set sail on yet another quest. A quest to find the interdimensional vortex that had plucked him out of his world and plopped him down in ours. Knowing only that the vortex was located in the ocean not far from Thimble Isle, the search was long, relying only on Elvis's memories dimmed by the time spent shackled in the depths of the palace. Now, just as everyone had given up hope, a shimmering haze is seen off the bow. Moving closer, our ship suddenly surges forward as it's drawn into the heart of the vortex. Our world fades from view as another materializes. We tumble downward, and everyone lands in a jumbled heap in the middle of a great black expanse. Our party seems dazed and a bit confused, but Elvis explains, "Well, I'll be an old hound dog. A parking lot. Look, there's my pink Cadillac just sitting there." Turning to us, he says, "Much obliged, friends, and welcome to Vegas. Here, I'm the king, and I owe a real powerful debt to you guys." Several crazy women carrying National Enquirer spot the king and scream, "Elvis, it's really him! My God!" A crowd forms and carries the king away. So, we saved ourselves a king. Several months later, after enjoying Elvis's hospitality, the old adventure bug bites our party. We wander off to seek our fortune in this very strange world, thinking back that maybe Legends was not such a bad place after all. In time, it becomes clear that the market for persons of our unique talents is a bit limited. So everyone decides to get a job appropriate to this new environment. Sure, it's not rescuing the world from evil, but everyone has to make a living. Brunt gets a job as Elvis's bodyguard and enjoys his work. Flit headed to the Rockies and hasn't been seen since. Blasto is headlining at the Golden Nugget, making a lot of money. And Paulus has become a famous television preacher, also making a lot of money. So, that's the story of our Legends heroes. From Wizards Rock to Grumble to eventually Las Vegas. A tale told on the TI-99 and the TI-99 alone, at a time in its history when there were only so many left to hear, and, well, even fewer still writing those stories. But, well, I'm proof, and so are some of you presumably, that there are still 99ers to appreciate what Donn Granros created, even today. Legends 2 shares a lot with Legends 1.1, but there's some refinements for sure. For one thing, the brutal early level grind is gone. You start at level 3. For another, there's more continuity. You pick up Urgle, for example, in one early dungeon, take him with you to another dungeon, and he finds his brother there. Then they give you disguises that you use at a dungeon even later on. There's just no character or event continuity of that kind in Legends 1. And finally, the ending gets a lot more detail and attention. And yeah, I know, it's really kooky. And Legends 2 definitely has a habit of taking the piss when it comes to its lore. But I kind of enjoy that. And regardless, there's more actual flavor there. Legends 1 is a more open experience, I gotta grant, and so I understand if folks value that a lot. That's important. But Legends 2 is just more of a role-playing game as I see it. Making it more linear made it more possible for it to have more continuity. And graphically it's improved there too, with the town screens being a big improvement over Legends 1's only one graphical transitional town screen. Does all of that make it a great 1989 RPG though? No, it doesn't. By 1989, RPGs had come further, and yeah, they'd done more elsewhere. But for its platform, the TI-99, and given its means, it's pretty great. Legends and Legends 2 really are the ultimate TI Extended Basic RPGs. Thank you for watching, folks. It's been fun to do a real deep dive into these games, and behind the scenes, a deep dive into their code as well, given a fair amount of that is Extended Basic, available to be poked through and prodded at as I please. If you're interested in playing Legends 2 yourself, links are in the description for the manual and discs.